Hey, this is me building and strategizing a $2 million per year business in public. Last month I made $139,000, and next month I want to hit $167,000. This is how I'm doing it day by day. This is some QA first, as per usual. So if you have any questions you want me to answer about my own business, or maybe some things that you guys are wondering about AI and automation, ask away as a comment on this channel and I will answer. Then we're going to do some growth stats. I'm going to see how my brand has progressed over the last 24 hours. And then finally, we're going to do some live strategy. If my camera cooperates, it has unfortunately overheated a couple times in the last hour or so, which is annoying. This is my main channel. Just hit 60K subs yesterday. That's awesome. And this is the daily updates channel. I organize this by going to the very bottom of my comment feed and just answering them one by one. So Serena Lambert says, "Hey Nick, learning so much from your content. Really appreciate the work you put in. Thank you." You get the green heart. Question for you. With client projects using N8N, love some insight on how to handle accounts. Do you encourage them to use the cloud version, set up self-hosting for them, or run their workflows on your own self-hosted server? Let me run you through things. I will only ever use the cloud version for N8N. This is specific to N8N. The reason why is because N8N is kind of a multifaceted beast, right? Like you have the ability to go cloud hosted. You also have the ability to go self-hosted. Self-hosting is typically cheaper. Typically, you can also do much higher volume applications. But the downside is you start having to deal with DevOps. You start having to deal with deployment. So what I will always do is I will just deliver a large enough ROI that the base N8N cloud pricing plan doesn't matter. Like $60 a month for my client to pay. That means basically nothing if I'm delivering $5,000 per month, or 5,000 euros, I guess that's what that means in value, right? Most of my clients for N8N are on the Pro plan, and 10,000 workflow executions per month with unlimited steps and then 15 active workflows is actually enough for most of the people that I'm working with right now. I haven't had to go any higher, so this is good. I imagine, in the future, as people scale up and as I create more and more active workflows for specific needs, I will need to do an enterprise plan, and I don't know exactly what that looks like, if I'm honest, but we will see. We will see when we get to that point. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that's a different problem, right? That's a development problem. That's a deployment issue. I don't really want to concern myself with that. I just want to do business logic and then deliver wins for my customers. So if I could operate even 1% faster by getting my customers to spend 60 euros a month, it's like 1% of $10,000 is another $100, which outweighs the $60 a month that they're spending. So I would get them to use the cloud version 100% of the time. Sinatra Foreign says, "This is a bit of a weird question, but I feel like you're the right person for it. I love Sinatra Foreign, no problem. What's your take on relationships in the early days of your entrepreneurship?" That's a good question. I went through a lot of relationships with building my web agency a few years ago. It never really felt like a stable place to stay emotionally. Since entrepreneurship can be overwhelming, and with a relationship, you'll notice that there's so much to unlearn to be a better person for your significant others. It can be a lot, as we all can't be Guts from Berserk. Guts definitely had a lot he needed to unlearn. So how did you manage that balance? Or do you wait until a certain threshold of income where you can just say, "Hey, I made it. I can invest my time and emotions in other people. It's time for a relationship." Thank you beforehand, and sorry for outsourcing therapy to you. No problem. I wanted to be a therapist at one point, so maybe that's just all I do. I'm definitely a therapist for my clients. I think if we're being pragmatic, as somebody that is in a relationship, you only have so much time available in a day, and relationships do take a certain level of investment. If you want a relationship to grow and be good, you need to water said relationship. You need to make time for that person. You need to be available for that person. You need to, and that availability sometimes involves compromises if you're both very busy. So if we're being pragmatic, you have 24 hours in a day. Some portion of that time will necessarily be spent enriching a relationship if you want to have a good one. And that means that some time will be taken away from your work. So that's just the reality of the situation. For most of my business building career, was not in a relationship. I was dating around quite a bit because I think I had a fair number of insecurities growing up. And so I sort of got over that just by, trying to see a ton of women. And, that stuff certainly helps. Definitely improve the sales skills, that's for sure. But yeah, like for most of my entrepreneurial career, I have not really dated or been in any sort of relationship. And that's probably one of the reasons why I was able to commit so fully to this and sort of get married to this. I don't say that to mean that you can't get in a relationship and be a successful entrepreneur. Most successful entrepreneurs are in a relationship or they have had multiple sort of long-term relationships. But I just want you to know that that's more of just a consequence of humans typically end up having multiple relationships the older they get, and not that that's the ideal setup for entrepreneurship. What I definitely wouldn't do, Sinatra, foreign, if that is even your real name. It would be kind of funny if your name was actually Sinatra Foreign. Huh? What I definitely wouldn't do is I would not wait until I have a certain amount of money, like you're saying over here. Hey, I've made it, so I can invest my time and emotions in other people. I would definitely not do that. Because the time is going to pass anyway, and we are, the one thing that we do not have is time, really. I definitely, if you take that approach to things, you will never actually get to the point where you are satisfied. You'll never actually get to the point where you've quote unquote made it, and then you're okay to start a relationship. It's the same thing in business I see all the time. People in my communities always say stuff like, oh, when I leave my job, I'll have more time and then I'll be able to go into this fully. Or, oh, when I finish up this client project, then I'll be able to get back to lead gen. So it's the same sort of problem that you're discussing here with relationships that I think is just like a human procrastination problem, if I'm honest. You'll never have the perfect scenario for relationships. You're never going to have the perfect scenario to get started with any sort of business. The reality is you just have to start somewhere. And that thing that you are starting will eventually grow, hopefully in a direction that you want, and hopefully in a way that you can balance the time that you spend investing and watering the hopefully love of your life with the work that you do. So I found anecdotally in my own relationship, I've spent a lot more time, not like explicit time, but also just time thinking about them, time spent considering their needs and their wants, stuff like that. And when I was not in a relationship, I did not give a shit about any of that, right? I see a lot of people starting this sorts of businesses with kids. So not only do they have a significant other, but they also have little baby humans running around, hopefully, like in a good way. And there's just no way in hell that that's not harder. But it's just about making it work regardless if that's something that you really value and prioritize. And most people do, right? We're not psychopaths or whatever. Like we all want to love and be loved. So most people do. And yeah, it just depends on like your goals really. Like, do you want to start a $250 business? I mean, if you want to start a $250 business and become AI God Emperor, Sam Altman Overlord, then probably not a good idea to get into one, even though he's in a relationship, for Christ's sake. It's probably not a good idea because that will certainly take away from your time. But we are not all crazy, Machiavellian beings that can just focus solely on work, right? Like if you want to have some sort of love in your life, you should probably just start sooner rather than later, regardless of your financial situation. Okay, David M. Carter says, can you explain the purpose of your 5 YouTube and Instagram channels? Absolutely. These are what are called satellite channels, popularized by Iman Gadzi and a few other people. The idea is, let's say this is your main channel, okay? And this is like, I don't know, 2 million followers, something like that. This here, this square that is your main channel, if you think about this as like your brand, and the rest of the world here is just like the market, okay? There is only so much surface area here that is available to contact the market. The market can only see you so much. I mean, if we could even make this like formalize it with math. If this is like 2 this way and 2 this way, then what's the surface area here? It's 2, 2, 2, 2, right? The perimeter of this is 8, meaning that you have like 8 units of surface area. I know that this may sound stupid, but just bear with me for a second. This is your main brand, right? But now imagine if instead of this, you also had, okay, a bunch of satellite channels. And in my case, I have 10. So I'm not going to actually go through the rigmarole drawing them all. But because I have 10, right, this might be, I don't know, 0.5, which is now 2. This would be another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2. So, what am I doing here, really? Well, I'm growing this now. My main channel is growing at kind of like 8 units of speed. And then all my satellite channels are growing at like 20 units of speed. And then some proportion of these satellite channels that I'm growing, maybe 50% of the followers, they're just going to flood into my main one anyway. So yeah, to make a long story short, like I'm looking at this mathematically, this really just increases your surface area, your ability to interface with the market. In my case, there's another benefit. You get to test a lot of things on these satellite channels. So if you're smart about it, smarter than I am because I haven't done this, you can actually test different like visual styles, different types of content and different things on different channels, and then grow like specific niche followings there, which allow your surface area to be a lot bigger than the 2 hypothetical number that I said back there. I guess just strategically, Yeah, strategically you can grow a lot faster with these. So I will say my own like deployment of this has not been ideal. In the last 2 weeks, we have basically just done linear growth. So literally last 2 weeks has just been this, which is fine, I guess. But I don't want that. I want this. I want there to be some sort of exponential increase like my main channels. So a variety of reasons why I don't think that this is working. I think that there's like maybe there's some limiting on the accounts themselves. Maybe there's, I don't know, I didn't set them up right. Maybe we didn't warm them up as well as we should have. Maybe we're not using the right thumbnail strategy and tags and stuff. I've been discussing this with my team. We're not entirely sure, but we're going to continue running it at least until the end of the month before I make any major changes. But yeah, that's the whole idea behind that. So hopefully that makes sense. Aiden945, that is the name of one of my best friends. Is that you, Aiden? I don't think so. I have to thank you for the value you've been providing to us. I've been building an AI voice agent that qualifies leads and makes bookings, but I haven't tried selling it yet. A few days ago, I saw one of your videos in which you said you were selling AI agents is not very effective because they can mess up, etc. I'm not really sure what to do now and what else to sell, excluding AI agents. Thanks for answering. Love your content. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Listen, I didn't say that AI agents are not effective. I said that AI agents built in N8N are not effective, to be abundantly clear. And I made my word choices there very intentionally, because I think AI agents are great and they're going to fundamentally change our economy. I just think AI agents built in N8N are not at the point where they offer additional value to just building out like one of those linear automations. So that's the nuance there, just to be clear. And then the fact that you're building AI voice agents means that you're probably not using N8N as a platform. So I don't really think that you have that issue. I would keep on doing what I'm doing. Just make sure you're not using AI agents in the wrong applications. Like, I think a human being is still going to perform better than an AI voice agent a lot of the time. The main benefit of an AI voice agent right now is it's just available 24/7. So if you have some front desk staff at a dentist office or something, these human beings need to take a break. They need to go to sleep and stuff. What if you get an emergency call in the middle of the night? Well, now you don't need to staff the front desk for an additional $160 every night. You don't need to be paying somebody to be on call for you. What you can do is you can have an AI voice agent that runs for $3 a night instead, and then is 24/7 available. And even if the quality of that is not as good as a human being, well, at least you have full uptime. And you can say something like, hey, there's actually nobody at the phone right now. I'm happy to schedule you in though, or we can give you a call back or something. At least you get to like contact the customer where they matters, right? So JV Booth says, hey, Nick, love the content. I'm in the community. Hell yeah, you are. Handsome devil. I'd really love for you to put more of an emphasis on copywriting. It's a parallel skill that I'd love to be able to work on. If you could share any of your best tips expanding on what was within the community. The best tips really are, number one, like just try and eliminate unnecessary words. Ask yourself, can I say what I'm trying to say in fewer words? Is there any way that I could do so? If you can, then just do it in fewer words, okay? So an example, I would really love for you to put more of an emphasis on copywriting. You could actually use this principle to make this way shorter. This is, 14 words, okay, and 69 characters. I'd love you to talk more about copywriting. So we went from 69 and 14 and 69 to 8 and 43, okay? Same exact meaning. You're just cutting down the number of words that you need. It's like, get out of the habit of using the words really, right? Because there are better words like really fast, right? I don't actually know. What's a better way to say really fast? I mean, I use ChatGPT for this stuff all the time. Rapidly. Okay, instead of saying really fast, say rapidly. You know what I mean? With haste. Don't say with haste. But that's number one. A second big thing is to understand the platform that you are selling on. So a good example of this is if I go over here and then I go to people selling me stuff. Check this out. This person, Danish Banduri, he or she, I don't know who this is really. They've obviously followed up 10 times, so good on them. But there are a variety of ways that they could show me value in my email. When you're doing cold email, you could do the title, the first and the last name of the sender. Okay, that's one area that you can add value. The title or subject line, that's another area you can add value. The teaser, which is like 100 and something characters, I think, that's another area you can add value. The title of the attachment is another way. So in this case, we had a GIF. It says United Nations. Thank you by Giphy News. Imagine if instead Vikram, this guy here, whose email I haven't looked at, all this stuff is being AI filtered. Imagine if Vikram here actually had some automation that changed the title of the image so that it said, Nick's something, right? Now I'm going to think, oh man, this guy actually customized the whole asset for me. How much more likely am I going to be to click? So, if the first main tip is to eschew obfuscation, aka to make everything as short and as impactful as humanly possible, eliminate characters that you don't need and just be very ruthless about it. The second is just understand the platform that you're marketing on and use every option available to you to make it seem as if you are personalized as possible, essentially. So, yeah, that's those are my two main tips for sure. Okay, some of the gurus, John at Large says, some of the gurus on personalization suggest looking up the contact, really personalizing it. Yes, I do. I wouldn't call myself a guru, but I do. Thank you, Atua Chofa. For example, an email to you might start, love the cup and saucer picture you have, or that's a stylish hoodie you wore in your latest video, or something even more personal, such as asking how their name of pet is doing as they talk about their dog a lot on socials and so on. Yeah, this is exactly what I recommend. Be smart about it. Don't be weird about it. But yeah, like just find a way to briefly mention something that the prospect would think you would only be able to know if you actually spent some time scrolling through their profile. I have been straight grind mode for a while, as is hopefully clear. Okay, Moise Shirazi, who has an awesome profile pic, by the way, says, hey, Nick, can't remember if this has been asked before, but you seemed in pretty early to the whole AI automation scene. Would you say that it was luck or a combination of being proactive and being at the right place at the right time? What made you want to take a leap in starting content again around Make? Was it an opportunity or need that you saw that wasn't met? Curious to know more around that January 2024 period you had a contemplation, how that led to your content strategies. Clearly, that became your most successful business venture. Yes, very true. Shashanka says, IRC has been tinkering with AI since 2018, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you are right. He's mentioned that in some of his other videos. I think it was 2018, or maybe it was like early 2019. No, I think it was like 2018, since I found these models and started playing around with them for the first time. It wasn't until 2019 that I actually started being like, oh, I can make money with this. So yeah, I was pretty early to the whole AI automation scene. I think I'm the earliest person to making money with AI practically, basically. Probably 100 of us or something, and I'm one of them. So I don't know that for sure, but yeah, granddaddy over here. Gwern. You guys know Gwern? You guys probably don't know Gwern. I love this guy. Gwern made his anime waifu generator forever ago. Right? Making anime faces, 2019, right? He started making anime faces of anime characters. And then I was just following this guy religiously. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is possible? Are you kidding? You can use a generative neural network in order to do this back in 2017? Okay, what the fuck is going on? So I started being like, all right, well, can I use this to make money, right? And I was one of the first people that took this approach, use it to make money. Academics, I think Gwern and the rest of them, they're more interested in the theoretical applications of what is going on with that girl's face. Okay, so I just realized that a lot of this is probably porn. Anyway, let's move on from that. A lot of these academics, they realized that this technology was powerful, but they didn't really have any interest in monetizing it. So yeah, definitely early. Was it luck? Well, it's lucky insofar that I was born at the right critical period in humanity. Yeah. But I would have been successful regardless, really. It's just a matter of time, right? Consistency. If you just never give up, your only other option is to win big. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a combination of luck and being at the right place. It was a combination of being proactive and being at the right place at the right time. The thing that made me want to start making content again around Make was I was doing really well with cold outreach at the time, and I was making a lot of money with it, right? I had scaled my agency to 72K, and that was great. But I've just been selling cold for so long, the last 5 or 6 years of my life, basically. I've just been selling cold. And selling cold is great. And it's the straightest line path to making money. But it's also, you're always fighting an uphill battle no matter what. And I just started asking myself, hey, I'm making a lot of money now. Is there a better way to be making this money? Is there an easier way? Is there a higher ROI way? What if instead of me going to the customer with my super hyper personalized approach, which is still great and valuable, what if instead I built a ton of credibility and I had people just come to me? Is that possible? So that's really the main thing that forced me to consider it. And at the time I was in Mexico with my buddy Zach, and we just did a lot of talking about the sort of life we wanted to have and about our skill sets. And yeah, I just, I kind of realized that the reason why I had stopped all this YouTube stuff was not because I had made a fundamental error in my thinking. It was simply because I hadn't done it for long enough and hadn't tried. So, like a lot of people, they'll try something and then they'll do it for 2 weeks and then it won't work. And then they'll think, I must have made some sort of fundamental strategic error. The reality is, a lot of the time you didn't make a fundamental strategic error. Your strategy was right. Like my Instagram fan pages, for instance, YouTube fan pages. The strategy is right. It's simply you didn't stick with it for long enough or there was a minor detail in the implementation. So there's no fundamental reason why you should not make it so long as you've thought through the problem and you're reasonably intelligent. You just need to continue trucking along. And that's one realization I had back with Zach in Isla Mujeres. And yeah, that's where we're at now. Randall8804 says, do you have the link to the deep personalization and info you showed in your main channel? A few days ago. Is it just a few days ago? Yeah, it's all on my Gumroad. Check it out. Yeah, that's the one. It's somewhere on my Gumroad, man. Like deep personalization. I don't know exactly where. I mean, one of the personalization ones. I'm pretty sure. No. Can I go left clicker? There you go. Personal. Scroll all the way down. Personal. Deep. Maybe it isn't on my Gumroad. Oh, you know what? No, man. I think this was like the very first one that I did in my community, actually. Yeah, good catch. Good catch. This is probably the one of the very first ones I did where you need to be in Maker School in order to get it, because I wanted to incentivize signups. So sorry about that. Like a $80K a month sales systems agency, scaled from 0, FYI. Yeah, sorry about that. I was mistaken. USJ7087 says, I'm from India, and right now I'm working as a web development freelancer, but I want to start selling VAPI customer support and appointment booking voice agents. I'm pretty confident in my skills, but I don't know how to approach US or European clients as they pay a lot more than Indian companies. I want to start cold calling and have a decent accent too. I'd love some suggestions. When you say decent accent, do you mean like it's like noticeably Indian or something? Websites are doing fine, but I want to gift my dad his dream watch on his birthday, so gotta lock in. Dude, that's awesome. Fantastic. You want to start cold? Have you never cold called before? Well, you're going to be at a disadvantage if you do cold calling, and if you do have like an accent, people are going to pattern match you as like a lot of the offshore like scammer type stuff. You know, not to shit on you or whatever, but I just want to be honest with you. So that's going to hurt you. You seem like you're really good at like English language in general, like writing wise, dude. Solid, man. No issues there. I might just run cold email campaigns. Yeah. Just run cold email campaigns. You don't need to be in the same place as somebody in order to sell them. And I mean, text is text is text. Doesn't matter who wrote it as long as it's good, right? So cold calling might not be the right move. Yeah, might not be the right move. So how do you approach them? They would pay a lot more than Indian companies. Probably pay like 10 more. So maybe charge them 3 times the money instead of 10 times. Just get a couple of easy wins under your belt and then make arbitrage through cost of living. Like you are going to be able to sell much cheaper solutions. I'm not saying you should, but you are going to be able to, and that's an okay way to get started. Value propositions should usually be more than just my shit is really inexpensive, but that's an okay place to start. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Get a first win under your belt through some sort of cold email or Loom video approach or whatever, and then worry about exactly how to price and stuff later. Okay, Rahat says, amazing content as always. Nick, if you remember, there's a video you made about highly profitable AI automation niches. One of the niches you suggested was coaching and consulting. You mentioned about a system called a coaching management system. Can you please explain which software you'd use to deliver the system? Thanks. Yeah, for sure. It's ClickUp. I created this in ClickUp. So this is 100% homegrown ClickUp, baby. Let me run you through how this looks, really. I basically had a bunch of ClickUp statuses, okay? So basically, new coaching client would come on board. How did they come on board? There was a webhook payment trigger from, I believe, ClickFunnels. Yes, it was ClickFunnels. So if you ever used ClickFunnels, you'll know that it's shit. It's terrible, but there's some webhook feature that you can hook up through a form. I don't know if I used a plugin for this or something, but anyway, every time a new payment trigger would come, we'd get the name, okay, and their information, and then we'd create a new record in ClickUp. And then we'd add status, and the status was like onboarding. In order for onboarding to work, what we did is we had some onboarding SOPs, and then the coach that they're matched with, we use round robin because there are a bunch of different coaches. So that just means you distribute them one after the other, after the other, after the other. And then, once you're done with the coaches, you start at the top again. That way everybody gets the same number of clients and stuff. They had some sort of like onboarding call SOP. And then after their onboarding call's done, coach changed the status to, I don't even remember what the first status was, but it was something like week 1 or something. And in week 1, basically when you did this, you ended up with, sorry, my Excalibur is broken. You ended up getting an email with a bunch of resources, basically, and then you ended up with like a Google Drive that you could upload stuff to. And then the coach would move it to week 2, and then you'd also get a bunch more stuff week 3, week 4. This just standardized the coaching process. So just built it all out in ClickUp like you've seen me do before. Okay. Last one from Zhao says, hey, Nick, I run an email marketing agency. Wanted to automate some of the design process in Figma with Make. Found zero content on it, though. Do you know someone else doing shit like this, or have you done it before? Figma with Make? No, I don't believe so. Do we have the ability to automate stuff in Make with Figma? List comments, huh? Make an API call. So I'll check the API in a second. So there's a bunch of read points, but not necessarily points aside from that. Let's take a peek. Okay, so you could send webhooks when a design is finished. That looks nice. Looks like you can just read a bunch of stuff. I don't think you could necessarily create stuff. Do you create templates? Figma template API. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you could do this. I don't think you could make anything in Figma, like automate designs and stuff, but you can certainly do a bunch of metadata related information. There are lots of endpoints here for that. So I guess to make a long story short, I haven't done this before. I've done similar stuff with, is it Lucidchart? Yeah, I've done similar stuff with Lucidchart and Miro as well. Miro has an API. So what you could do is you could design something in Miro, and then you could create variables, and then you could like update items. You could update the item position, create specific cards. You could do a lot. But to be honest, I just use Google Slides for this. Way easier than using Figma. Granted, Figma is obviously higher quality and stuff. Okay, let me ask some really quick questions. Live coaching calls, do I personally attend all of them? Are you talking about the once per month ones? Yes, I do the coaching. How many people usually show up? It's like 100. Completely unrelated, but the podcast with Matthew Slayers, thank you. And yeah, that'd be really funny. Harry Joyner says, I'm surprised you have less than 2,000 subs. I'm surprised it's not 2 million. I did start it really recently. Yeah. So I have another channel, in case you didn't know. So it's not like this is my only one. Oh, nice. All right, cool. Thank you, Acquisition Capitalist. Yeah, but about Manus, I'm not entirely sure, but is what it is. Daniel says I have some ideas about that AI infrastructure platform you want to build. Let me know if you want us to chat. Sure. Yeah, sounds good, man. Just shoot me over a quick email with your thoughts on it, bullet points ideally, and if it makes sense, then we can set up a call. Dark Knight says can't see. Dark Knight and Sarcasm both have the exact same background. What's going on with that? We got a bunch of people complimenting my haircut. Thank you. I think it's a little too short. I got it just a little too short, unfortunately. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Pete. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Vivan. Yeah, I'm not going to like this because I see you have a question here. Lisa says it's 75% error-free. I think Manus, I think that depends on how in-depth the things that you're getting it to do involve. The Tony J. Young says, nice fade. Tony, great seeing you. Tony's a cold email wizard. Awesome. So that's that. Let's do some brand stats just before my camera obviously overheats. And if it does, I'm just going to keep on recording. I give a shit. We are now at 60,000. Let me just refresh this because this number has definitely gone up. 60,220 on my main channel. My Instagram should now be at 46,610. And then my daily updates channel is at 1727. Very cool. I've gone up by 3. That sucks. 3 people? That's it, guys? It's got to be my lowest sub day ever. Why does it say 45 here and then 49? Oh, my bad. I must have like not refreshed it. Okay, it's 1749. That's not terrible. Okay, what am I excited about? This monetization stuff. I was wrong. It's not 3,000. Um, it's not 3,000 watch hours. It's 4,000. So I have like another few days till I monetize this and get ad money. That's pretty cool. I'm also just excited about hitting the 60K mark. That's cool. The number of comments I'm getting is going up. Now, I haven't posted content in like 3 or 4 days. I am working. I'm basically taking all the time that I would have spent on content. I'm just doing it hiring now with all those SOPs and everything that I developed. If you guys think that you'd be a good fit for my YouTube strategist position or my editing position, please let me know. I'm looking for people that watch my content and like the sort of stuff that I talk about. Odds are, if you like the sort of stuff that I talk about, we're probably like a pretty good fit to work together. And I think my content is a lot more high ROI and effective than most. So if you've been following what I've been doing for a while, you're probably more likely to have made some money and have some experience under your belt. That's sort of my mindset there. Yeah, so let's do a little bit of strategy just while I have the time. Big thing I changed was you'll notice that the color grading in my background is different. I spent a few minutes just tweaking it the other day and changing the camera signal that was coming in so that it's like using a different picture profile or some shit. I've been looking a lot at this one guy, Tom Nosk, I think his name is, off the recommendation of Shub, who's helping me with my Instagram. And I really like the look of this guy's content. Like, it's real clean. Look at this stuff, man. So clean. Massive, super cool eye for design. And I just like the way it is. I like the way that it's set up. His studio is pretty minimalistic. Like, he has a big light position, like a specific spot. And I think he has like probably the most optimized content setup ever, honestly. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to create something like this. I just got my rental for a new apartment in a couple of weeks. So my background's going to change and stuff like that, which is important for me to note. I don't want to spend my entire life just setting up my studio. But yeah, like it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. So I'd like to maybe make some changes to my studio setup so that I have something a little more like this. And then the big thing that we are getting inspired from Tom about are these thumbnails. See how this one says launch? That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thumbnail. It didn't perform much better than his normal stuff. Okay, just to be clear, because it's not him, and most of the people follow him for him. But he has good thumbnails, and a lot of them are like lifestyle shot-based stuff. So I think maybe if we could tweak this and add some thumbnails like him, like the ones where he's talking, like we don't stick them right in the middle. They don't cover up his face or his eyes. There's something that's like attractive, like Million or whatever. And if maybe we follow a similar format to how he's doing this for his clips, I think we might have a better chance of making it. Crossing my fingers on that, but yeah. Aside from that, I've received a ton of people that have applied for editing positions, which is nice. A ton of people that have applied for content strategist positions, which is nice. I've received a couple of really good ones. I have yet to like sit down and go through all of them. I've just been setting up the systems that I want people to use. But yeah, the second that I find somebody, I'm just going to have them start basically immediately, like that day. And then I'm just going to figure it out as we go along. I'm not going to worry too much about trying to make it 100% perfect before I hire. Just want to, get somebody paid, have them work for me every single day immediately. Because, again, if they watch my sort of stuff, they know how disproportionate the value is in working with somebody that is taking off like I am. Like if you're somebody that's making less than $5,000 a month, you start working with me where the agency is making, what's that? 30 times that approximately. And if I continue to grow, that's got to be the straightest line path for you to improve your income, right? So you're a lot more incentivized to deliver for me, and that's what I want. I want killers that can just work autonomously and that like see the value and the potential. So that's where I'm at with the hiring stuff. This is where I'm at with the website stuff. I've made a couple additional changes. So we have the logos up here now, which I think looks pretty sexy. We obviously have Nick and his team have helped generate millions for B2B companies just like yours with automation and AI. I think that's cool. Nick and his team, I feel like it's important for me to mention my name here. I was also thinking about getting a little signature where it says like Nick Saraev or something down here. That'd be kind of cool. I've added some case studies, which I'll show you guys in a second. Added some testimonials. I haven't really like spent any time or work on this. I just said, screw it. I'm just going to launch my website and not worry about it. Again, just launching minimalistically. I'm going to make some changes here to the Meta and Netflix stuff, but that is going to require me to go through the social proof of the person that I'm working with. And then, yeah, let's go and see some of these case studies actually. So how do I do this? I guess I got to go preview. Click on this. It's going to look like this. So I've actually filled out the text. All I need to do is now swap some images in there. Then we got the other ones, right? That's pretty cool. Very fun, very exciting. So I think we're 2 out of 4 now. So I'm just going to do that today. I'm not going to make this video 8 quadrillion hours long by doing it live with you guys, but I'm just going to do this. I'll go through the case studies and just change them, and then I just need to change the title nav bar, and then this website's done. Pretty easy, right? Oh, yeah. Can't forget about that sexy grain layer. Ooh, look at that. Tasty. So pretty excited. Things are progressing quick now that I'm doing the hiring stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we land. I have a few people that are basically like generating videos for me right now. They took the, just got a note that all of my references have finished the firearms application I sent, which is cool. What was I saying? Yeah, I have a few people that are actually like editing live footage for me right now, footage that I just gave them. So I'm going to see those results, and I'll probably be able to make a decision around the editor in the next 3 or 4 days. Super exciting. Very cool. Hopefully you guys appreciated the video. Had an awesome daily update today. Thank you very much for being with me as always. Check out Maker School if you haven't already. Check out makemoneywithmake.com, my other automation community if you haven't already. Get the links down below if you'd like. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much.